Hey friends, Ash here with Gents. Hope you're doing well. It's time for another This Week in Fragrance. Time to take a look at some upcoming releases that hopefully we'll be able to pick up soon. I mean, I don't say for sure just because, man, I can't even buy salt at my grocery store right now. Like the big things of salt, sold out. Apparently the supply chain issue is making it where I can't get salty. But anyway, hopefully these fragrances we can get our hands on soon. Got some interesting ones. We got Carolina Herrera, Valentino, Narciso Rodriguez, and Azzaro. So let's jump into it. Let's check these out. We're kicking things off with the new Azzaro Chrome Eau de Parfum. Yes, my friends, yet another Eau de Parfum flanker. What we all need. Now this one, at least as of when I'm filming, hasn't been announced in the US yet. No, I haven't found it on any of the websites. I actually just stumbled on it. I was poking around on the internet looking at a German fragrance website or store and came across this and I was like, what? Azzaro Chrome Eau de Parfum is a sensual and exciting men's fragrance that invites you to live in the here and now and to share the simple and intense moments in life. The Eau de Parfum is an intense reinterpretation of the iconic Azzaro Chrome Eau de Toilette. So what that tells me right away is that Azzaro is getting in on the EDT to EDP to P to E game. You know, you got the Eau de Toilette, then you get the Eau de Parfum, which is a reimagining of that Eau de Toilette, deeper, richer, typically smoother. Then you have a Parfum, which is even more costly. And then the E, that elixir. The intense scent was inspired by a Mediterranean pine forest. Attractive as ever, the Eau de Parfum for men impresses with seductive fougere notes, which are heralded in the top by fruity tangerine. This is followed by fresh lavender in the heart, while pine essence in the base provides a worthy finish. It is an iconic men's fragrance and a classic guys, according to Azzaro. So as often happens, not too much information note-wise, tangerine, lavender, and then pine. Now, I'm not going to immediately write this off because Chrome has some great flankers, especially when you consider the price you can pick them up for at discounters. You know, Chrome Aqua, Chrome Pure, Chrome Extreme, those are really, really solid for their price points. So with Azzaro Chrome Eau de Parfum, I'm hopeful that they're going to pull this off and that it's going to be a great scent, especially when it hits discounters. Now let's talk about the new Valentino. This is Valentino Uomo, born in Roma, Coral Fantasy. Now, that name, Coral Fantasy, makes me think a couple different things. Now, we're going to get into how the fragrance actually is described in the notes and everything here in just a second, but what do you think of when you hear Coral Fantasy? For me, I think of an aquatic fragrance. You know, coral is in the ocean, so I think of an aquatic fragrance that's probably pretty sweet because they put that name fantasy there, and that makes me just think of a fragrance that's probably going to be really heavy-handed with the sweetness. So like an aquatic sweet fragrance, Coral Fantasy. Also maybe a slightly feminine name, but who cares about that? I mean, that's whatever. Or maybe you think of Rick from The Walking Dead. Coral. But no, Uomo born in Roma, Coral Fantasy is inspired by the sunset in Rome, the magical sky with an incredible coral color that encompasses the entire city. It is the end of the day. We're having an aperitif to drink on a terrace, and the sun sets over Rome. Our young people express themselves with fantasy. In Valentino, the corals are daring. It is a vibrant amber fragrance with an unexpected twist of fresh red apple accord and a powerful and provocative tobacco accord. The rock stud covering the bottle is a symbol of strength and the perfect link to our Roman brand heritage. And then it goes once again into the note breakdown here. A fresh and colorful accord of red apple with bergamot provides fruity, acidic, and modern notes to the juice. These notes give way to a powerful heart, a bourbon geranium combined with a clary sage that offers freshness in the wake. In the background, a warm tobacco accord ignites sophisticated patchouli to reveal a cool and intense fragrance. So we got bergamot and red apple in the top, bourbon geranium, clary sage in the mid, tobacco and patchouli in the base. So basically nothing at all like I thought when I just first saw the name before I saw the note breakdown or the write-up or anything like that. Now, Valentino Uomo is a line that is almost two extremes for a lot of people. You got the original Uomo, and then Uomo Intense especially, and to a lesser extent Uomo Aqua, where people say, oh man, solid, fantastic designer stuff. Then you've got Born in Roma, and then Yellow Dream, where a lot of people say, oh, I hate it. No, thank you. So we're gonna see if this one can change up that narrative with the Born in Roma line and maybe put a little respect on the name. Of course, when I see tobacco, pretty pumped because a lot of my favorite designer fragrances do have tobacco in them, even though a bunch of those favorites of mine have gone the way of the dodo and are discontinued. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that this is good and it really, switches up, like I said, the narrative on the Born in Roma line. So we can only wait and see. Next up, let's touch on that Narciso real quick. Narciso Rodriguez, for him, Blue Noir Parfum. Seems like just about all of the concentration, at least as far as the men's fragrances go, has been on that Blue Noir line for a minute. Mysterious and daring, this new Blue Noir fragrance revisits masculine elegance by exploring a new complementary universe within the collection. Combining magnetism and mystery enriches the Blue Noir range. So not too much of a ride up there, but let's check out the note breakdown. It's got bergamot, mandarin, and cypress in the top, musk, iris, and suede in the mid, and then tonka, vetiver, sandalwood, leather, and cedar in the base. Now, of course, the first thing that jumps out to me, iris. Yes, I have said it a bunch of times, to say it again, I'm a big sucker for iris notes and fragrances. Just about any way you can use them, I'll take it. Gonna give me a creamy, makeup-y, sweet iris? I'm here for it. Powdery? Yeah, I'll take that too. Soapy? Yeah, for sure. Whatever, doesn't matter. You give me the iris, I take the iris. So to see that in here, that intrigues me. And you've got tonka, sandalwood, leather, suede, making me think that this is going to be one of those richer, sweeter, deeper takes on iris. Again, assuming they make iris the focal point. It may not be, but I think it's going to be one of the focal points based off of the photos, the media photos that they have out for this thing. But anyway, with that whole note breakdown, looks like it could potentially have just a pop of fresh fruit in the opening and then settle into a really nice, thick, rich, deep scent. That's what I'm hoping. We'll have to see how it goes, of course, when it comes out, but I will say that Narciso Rodriguez, more often than not, puts out quality stuff. Even their fragrances that maybe I'm not head over heels in love with, I still smell it and I think, still well done. So this one for sure I'm looking forward to, and actually maybe one of the ones I'm most hyped about out of these four, the small collection here today. All right, next up and last up actually, Carolina Herrera Bad Boy Cobalt, the newest in the Bad Boy line. This one is an aromatic woody fragrance, a tribute to the bond of brotherhood, inspired by the strength of cobalt and its powerful pigmented hue. Bad Boy Cobalt puts a bold new spin on the duality of modern masculinity, the concept that defines all bad boy fragrances. With its fusion of mineral sensuality and wild freshness, this complex and invigorating aroma shows us Bad Boy in the most elegant version of him, inspired to show himself as he is, and confident that anything is possible in the company of the trusted friends of Bad Boy. I don't know what that means. Everything is possible in the company of the trusted friends of Bad Boy. This invigorating, contrasting fragrance features fresh, aromatic top notes of pink pepper that are intensified by a floral, yet masculine heart note of geranium. The mineral accents of the base with the hint of truffle are invigorated by smoked oak wood and extracts of ethically sourced vetiver and sensuous cedarwood. Now, obviously, what jumps out the most there is truffle, a truffle accord. So that's kind of interesting because when you see Bad Boy Cobalt, what you're thinking is, oh, we've got a blue fragrance here. When you see the note truffle, the first thing you probably think is Tom Ford, Black Orchid, and Noir de Noir. He's used it in a few different fragrances that reached a good amount of popularity, but for the most part, that's a note that most designer houses are not trying to go for. It's a mushroom and it's earthy. It's a truffle. A lot of people, you say, hey man, what do you want to smell like? What would you like in a fragrance? Most people are not going to go, smell like truffle. Truffle is expensive. So yeah, truffle in the base with vetiver and cedar. And then in the heart, in the mid, you have a black plum accord, which is really interesting because that is, from what I can tell right now, the focal point of what would be the fruity sweetness in the fragrance, a black plum. Again, don't see that very often. When you look at the bottle, with it being this nice blue gradient, the name being Cobalt, you would think this is probably going to be coming out as we head into spring. So it's going to be a little more of an appealing fragrance for warm weather, fresher type scent. They do talk about the freshness in the opening here. It's an interesting contrast. Pink pepper, lavender, geranium, these fresher notes, and then truffle and black plum, these darker notes, these heavier notes. It's going to be cool to see how these work out together. And I know a lot of people maybe don't get hyped for the bad boy line, whether it's because it's Carolina Herrera or the lightning bolt bottle or the name or the fact that the first bad boy was just kind of paint by numbers, just like a simple sort of sweet Tonka bad boy. I think that this is still really interesting, just based off of the write up and the fact that, just again, based off the note breakdown, it looks like they're trying to do something a little bit different, which I respect. I would rather that than just have them come out with, the exact same thing that either they've done or somebody else has done rehashed. That's not very exciting. So Carolina Herrera, Bad Boy, Cobalt, also something I'm really looking forward to. And even though these 4 fragrances are not from maybe, one of the biggest fragrance houses, they're still major, but it's not Chanel or Dior or Armani or Yves Saint Laurent or something like that. I think in each one of these, I'm really intrigued to see what they do and how these smell. So what's interesting for me is that maybe at first glance, when I saw these announced, I just thought, oh, okay, cool. I'll check it out whenever. But then when I read into them more, I thought, this could be interesting. These could be fragrances that either really shake things up for the line that they're a part of, or they could just completely fall apart and be crap. But it's going to be interesting to see which. And now I'm actually really, really anticipating these. All right, guys, it's going to do it for me with another week in fragrance. Let me know in the comments which of these 4 you're most interested in. I were to guess either the Herrera or the Valentino would have more people interested. But again, just a guess. All right, guys, it's going to do it for me. Thanks for hanging with me. Thanks for your support. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you later.